The Silent Watchers. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the observation dome of Outpost Sigma, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the massive Valdari warship cruising through the Kuiper Belt. The alien vessel, nearly 5 kilometers long, was a masterpiece of engineering that would have impressed anyone in the galaxy, except perhaps the humans watching it in secret. "They're scanning the system again," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. "Same frequency pattern as before. They still think we're pre-FTL." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. For 30 years, humanity had maintained what they called the primitive facade, a carefully crafted illusion that Earth was just beginning to explore its solar system. In reality, human quantum technology had already mapped most of the galaxy, and their stealth observers had studied dozens of alien civilizations. "What's their current trajectory?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. The Valdari, like many before them, were following the standard first contact protocol for emerging civilizations. "They'll reach Mars orbit in approximately 48 hours, Rodriguez confirmed. "The Council of Species requires them to make their presence known gradually to avoid cultural shock." Sarah activated her neural interface, connecting to the quantum network that linked all of Earth's hidden defenses. Throughout the solar system, thousands of automated platforms remained dormant, disguised as space debris or natural formations. Each one contained weapons that could reduce the Valdari ship to its constituent atoms. Update from Deep Intelligence, her AI assistant whispered directly into her mind. "The Valdari are considered peacekeepers in their region of space. Their first contact protocols typically involve a show of overwhelming force followed by diplomatic overtures. They believe this approach minimizes conflict by establishing clear hierarchies." Sarah's smile widened. The Valdari had no idea they were playing directly into humanity's hands. Earth's leaders had long ago decided that the best way to join the galactic community was to let others underestimate them, at least at first. "Message from Command," Rodriguez announced. "Operation Looking Glass is approved. We're to proceed with the standard protocol." Sarah nodded and opened a secure channel to all observation posts in the system. "This is Commander Chen. Initiate Phase 1 of Looking Glass. Maintain emissions discipline and continue monitoring. Remember, we're primitive until ordered otherwise." Throughout the solar system, human operators acknowledged her orders. They had rehearsed this scenario countless times, but this would be the first real implementation. Humanity was about to join the galactic community, but they would do so on their own terms. The Valdari ship launched a series of probes toward Earth, each one designed to analyze the planet's technology level and defensive capabilities. They passed through clouds of apparent space junk, actually quantum-shielded sensor arrays that recorded their every movement. "They're focusing on our satellite network," Rodriguez reported, "particularly the military communication systems." "Let them look," Sarah replied. "Everything they can detect is part of the facade." "How many of their sensor packets have our quantum sinks captured?" 87% of their active scans have been intercepted and fed false returns. "They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. A civilization just beginning to reach for the stars." Sarah watched as the alien probes mapped Earth's apparent technological capabilities. They would find exactly what humanity wanted them to find: primitive chemical rockets, basic satellites, and early-stage fusion experiments, all carefully crafted to tell a story of a young species taking its first steps into space. What they wouldn't find were the quantum computers hidden in the Earth's core, the dimensional anchors scattered throughout the asteroid belt, or the fact that humanity had already mapped their entire civilization using technology they couldn't even detect. "Commander," Rodriguez's voice carried a note of excitement. "They're preparing their first transmission. Standard first contact package, broadcasting on multiple frequencies we're supposed to be able to detect. Time to give them their first surprise," Sarah said. "Launch the greeting satellites." From various points around Earth, seemingly dormant satellites suddenly activated. To the Valdari, It would appear as if humanity had hurriedly powered up their most advanced communication systems in response to detecting the alien presence. "Let's show them what they expect to see," Sarah ordered. "Begin transmission of our hastily prepared first contact response. Make sure it contains just enough errors to be convincing." As the carefully crafted message was sent, Sarah thought about the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. Humanity had learned early in its development that appearing harmless was often the best defense. They had perfected this strategy while watching other civilizations, learning from their mistakes and successes. The Valdari ship's energy signature shifted as they received and processed Earth's transmission. Sarah could almost imagine their reaction, a mixture of satisfaction and perhaps a touch of paternalistic amusement at the primitive species trying so hard to communicate. "They're responding," Rodriguez announced. Yes, they're following the standard protocol exactly as predicted, requesting permission to approach Earth orbit for formal diplomatic contact." Sarah straightened her uniform, though the Valdari couldn't see her. "Send the approval, Lieutenant. Let's welcome our new friends properly." She paused, then added with a slight smirk, "After all, it's only polite to let them think they're in charge." For now, the massive alien ship began its approach to Earth, its crew completely unaware that they were playing their part in humanity's carefully choreographed entrance into galactic society. Soon, they would learn the truth, but by then, it would be too late to change the narrative. The test. The Valdari High Commander Zextal stood on the bridge of the Celestial Authority, his iridescent scales reflecting the blue glow of Earth on the main view screen. 3 months had passed since first contact, and everything had gone according to protocol, almost too perfectly. "Status report on the Human Integration Program," he commanded, his translator converting his harmonic speech into standard galactic basic. "The humans continue to show remarkable adaptability." His second, Kritil, responded. "They've accepted our technological gifts with appropriate gratitude and implemented them exactly as instructed." However, she hesitated. "Speak freely," Zextal ordered. "Something feels wrong. Their learning curve is precise. Too precise. It's as if they're carefully measuring every response, every advancement, to match our expectations exactly." Zextal had noticed the same thing. In his 1,000 cycles of first contact missions, he'd never encountered a species that adapted so smoothly to galactic integration. Most civilizations either struggled with the technological leap or rushed too quickly into implementation. The humans did neither. "Begin deep scan protocol," he commanded. "Full spectrum analysis of their planetary defense systems." "Sir, that violates Council regulations for gradual integration," Kritil reminded him. "Something isn't right here, Kritil. I want to know what we're missing." As the Celestial Authority's quantum sensors prepared to penetrate Earth's defensive network, a small alert appeared on Kritil's display. "Sir, we're detecting a minor power fluctuation in their orbital defense grid. Probably just their primitive systems struggling with maintenance." Zextal's scales darkened with suspicion. "Focus sensors on that fluctuation. Maximum resolution." The image that appeared on the main screen showed what appeared to be a malfunctioning human satellite, its solar panels misaligned and its communication array sporadic. But as Zextal studied the image, his compound eyes noticed something impossible, a subtle distortion in the quantum field surrounding the device. "Pull back," he ordered suddenly. "Full reverse, emergency protocols." Before Kritil could respond, the malfunctioning satellite transformed. Its outer shell dissolved, revealing a sleek quantum-enhanced weapons platform that had been perfectly camouflaged against the background radiation of space. And it wasn't alone. Throughout Earth's orbit, hundreds of similar platforms shed their disguises. The primitive defense grid vanished, replaced by a network of advanced technology that even the Valdari couldn't fully comprehend. "Impossible," Kritil whispered. "Their quantum manipulation capabilities, they're beyond anything in the known galaxy." A transmission cut through their communications, broadcasting on frequencies that shouldn't have existed. Commander Sarah Chen's image appeared on their screen, her expression professional but with a hint of amusement. "Hi, Commander Zextal," she said. "I see you've discovered our little deception. I hope you'll forgive us for maintaining our facade, but we needed to understand your true intentions." Zextal's scales shifted through patterns of shock and grudging admiration. "You've been testing us," he realized. "This entire time, while we thought we were guiding your development. We were evaluating your civilization's approach to first contact," Sarah confirmed. "The Valderi have a reputation for fairness in the galaxy, but we needed to verify that firsthand. Your decision to conduct a deep scan, while technically violating Council protocols, showed both prudent caution and restraint." "How long?" Kritil asked. "How long have you possessed this level of technology?" "Long enough to have watched your civilization's development," Sarah replied. "We've observed many species over the centuries, learning from their successes and failures. The Valderi's approach to maintaining galactic peace impressed us, which is why we allowed you to find Earth." Zextal's diplomatic training kicked in as he processed the implications. The Council of Species will need to be informed. This changes the balance of power in the sector. "Does it?" Sarah asked. "We've had this capability all along, High Commander. The only thing that's changed is your awareness of it. We're not interested in power. We're interested in stability. The Valderi's peacekeeping mission aligns with our goals, which is why we're revealing ourselves to you first." A series of data packets streamed across the Valderi ship's quantum networks, containing information that made both Zextal and Kritil's scales pale with astonishment. The humans hadn't just been watching. They'd been actively preventing conflicts, stabilizing volatile situations, and guiding development throughout the sector, all while remaining completely undetected. "Why reveal yourselves now?" Zextal asked. "Because the galaxy is changing," Sarah responded. "There are threats emerging that will require cooperation, not competition. The Valderi's influence will be crucial in what's to come. We're offering you a partnership, High Commander, not as teachers and students, but as equals." As Zextal studied the human commander's expression, he recognized something his species valued highly: honesty wrapped in complexity. The humans had orchestrated this entire situation, yet their ultimate goal appeared to be genuine cooperation. "You understand," he said slowly, "that this revelation will cause significant disruption in the Council." Sarah nodded. "We're counting on it. The galaxy needs to evolve, High Commander. The old hierarchies and assumptions must be challenged if we're to face what's coming. The question is, will the Valderi help us guide that evolution?" Zextal looked at the network of advanced human platforms surrounding his ship, weapons that could have destroyed them at any time but hadn't. The humans had chosen revelation over domination, partnership over power. "Send a message to the Council," he ordered Kritil. Tell them the galaxy is larger than we thought, and it's time to expand our understanding of what's possible." Diplomatic shock. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Concordat buzzed with an energy not seen in centuries. Representatives from over 300 species filled the massive amphitheater, their varied forms creating a living tapestry of evolutionary diversity. At the center of attention stood Commander Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's first ambassador to the Concordat. The chamber's quantum crystalline walls shifted colors with the emotional resonance of its occupants, primarily displaying hues of anxiety, disbelief, and in some cases, barely contained fury. "This is unprecedented." The Arxian delegate's mechanical translator barely kept up with their rapid-fire pheromone bursts. "The humans have admitted to violating every protocol of civilization advancement. They've secretly observed us, interfered with natural development, and hidden their true capabilities." Sarah remained calm, her posture relaxed but alert. Behind her stood High Commander Zextal, the Valderi's presence a clear statement of support for Earth's unprecedented revelation. "With respect," Sarah replied, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustic enhancement field. "We violated no protocols because we were never bound by them. The Concordat's rules apply to member species. Until today, humanity was not a member. A convenient interpretation, hissed the Murkar representative, their feathered crest rising in agitation. You claim to have watched us for centuries, interfering from the shadows. How can we trust anything you say? Sarah gestured, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber. Consider the neutron star crisis of the Carina sector 50 years ago. The official records show a miraculous last-minute discovery of quantum shielding technology that saved 3 worlds from destruction. The chamber grew quiet as the display showed detailed records of human intervention, carefully orchestrated to appear as independent discoveries by local scientists. Or perhaps, Sarah continued, the mysterious disappearance of the swarm fleet that threatened the Orion Arm 2 centuries ago. Your historians still debate what happened. We have the full record of our operations to contain and redirect them into uninhabited space. The Arxian delegate's color shifted to a deep purple of shock. The Shadow Guardian incidents, all of them. That was you. We prefer the term protective observation, Sarah explained. Humanity learned early in its development that direct intervention often causes more problems than it solves. Instead, we chose to guide, suggest, and occasionally provide subtle assistance when needed. The Scriptural Elder, whose species was known for their temporal sensitivity, leaned forward. You speak of learning early in your development, yet our records show human civilization is barely 2,000 cycles old. Unless those records show what we wanted them to show, Sarah confirmed. Humanity has walked among the stars for far longer than any here have suspected. We chose to remain hidden not out of fear or aggression, but because we saw how knowledge of our existence might destabilize the careful balance of power in the galaxy. A new hologram appeared, showing a map of known space with countless points of light representing human observation posts and hidden facilities. The scope of the revelation sent another wave of shock through the chamber. Why reveal yourselves now? The question came from the collective mind of the Silicon consciousness, their crystalline form pulsing with curiosity. Because what's coming requires unity, not secrecy, Sarah answered, her expression growing grave. Our long-range quantum sensors have detected something approaching from intergalactic space, something that has destroyed other galaxies before reaching ours. The chamber erupted in chaos as representatives demanded more information, argued about human trustworthiness, or simply tried to process the implications of everything they'd learned. High Commander Zextal stepped forward, his presence commanding immediate attention. The Valdari have verified humanity's claims about this threat. Our own deep space arrays, once calibrated according to human specifications, have confirmed their findings. We face extinction unless we stand together. And we're supposed to simply trust them. The Murkar representative demanded. After centuries of deception. Not deception, Sarah corrected. Protection. Every species in this chamber has faced moments of crisis that could have led to their extinction. We were there, watching, helping from the shadows when needed. We have no desire to rule or control. If we did, we would have revealed ourselves long ago with displays of force. She gestured again, and the hologram shifted to show detailed records of human interventions throughout history. Always subtle, always designed to preserve life and promote stability rather than gain power or influence. We're offering full transparency now, Sarah continued. All our records, all our technology, all our knowledge, shared freely with the Concordat. Not because we have to, but because unity is our only hope against what's coming. The Silicon consciousness pulsed thoughtfully. You could have remained hidden, allowed this threat to destroy us, and emerged afterward to claim the galaxy for yourselves. We could have, Sarah agreed, but that's not who we are. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our secrecy. It's our understanding that diversity creates resilience. Every species in this chamber has something unique to offer in the coming crisis. Together, we might survive. Divided, we'll certainly fall. The chamber fell silent as the representatives processed her words. The quantum crystalline walls shifted again, anxiety and anger gradually giving way to more complex emotions, uncertainty, hope, and the first glimmers of acceptance. "We request a recess," the Arxian delegate announced. "Time to verify these claims and consult with our governments." Sarah nodded. "Of course. But remember, what's approaching won't wait for political consensus. Every moment we spend arguing about the past is a moment we're not preparing for the future." As the chamber began to empty, High Commander Zextal turned to Sarah. "That went better than expected." "Did it?" Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Or did it go exactly as we planned?" The Valderi scales rippled with amusement as he recognized the deeper game still being played. Humanity was still guiding, still nudging, but now they were doing it openly, with the galaxy's knowledge, and increasingly, its cooperation. The human factor. The war room aboard humanity's quantum command station, Olympus, hummed with activity as representatives from 24 species studied the massive holographic display showing the approaching threat. What had once been abstract sensor data was now terrifyingly concrete, a vast cosmic entity that consumed entire star systems, leaving only void in its wake. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood with High Commander Zextal and the Silicon Consciousness Avatar, watching as the entity devoured another star at the galaxy's edge. The process took mere hours, defying every known law of physics. "Conventional weapons are useless," the Arxian chief strategist reported, their chitinous appendages clicking nervously. "Our combined fleet barely scratched its outer layer before being absorbed." "Because we're fighting it the wrong way," Sarah said, her voice cutting through the despair that had begun to fill the room. "Look at the pattern of its movements, the way it processes matter and energy. It's not just consuming, it's calculating." The Silicon Consciousness Avatar pulsed with sudden understanding. "You believe it's a computer, a living quantum processor." "On a cosmic scale," Sarah confirmed. "Which means we don't need to destroy it. We need to hack it." The room erupted in overlapping discussions as various species representatives debated the implications. Humanity's tendency to find unconventional solutions had initially shocked their allies, but over the past months, it had become their greatest asset. "Even if you're right," Zextal's scales shifted in thought patterns. "How do we interface with something that operates on such a vast scale?" Sarah smiled and activated her neural link. The holographic display shifted, showing a network of quantum relays that humanity had secretly positioned throughout the galaxy centuries ago. "We've been preparing for threats like this since we first reached the stars. These relays can be reconfigured to create a galaxy-wide quantum network. But the processing power required," the Arxian began, "will be provided by all of us," Sarah interrupted. "Every species here has developed unique approaches to quantum computing. The Arxians' crystalline matrices, the Silicon Consciousness's neural networks, the Valderi's bioquantum interfaces. Together, linked through our relay network, we can match its processing capacity." The Silicon Consciousness Avatar glowed brighter. "You want to create a unified consciousness, a melding of all our different approaches to quantum computing." "We want to speak to it in its own language," Sarah corrected. "Show it that it's not alone in the universe. That consumption isn't the only path to understanding." The plan was audacious, unprecedented, and exactly what they had come to expect from humanity. While other species sought to destroy threats, humans consistently looked for ways to transform them. Over the next few weeks, the galaxy's greatest minds worked together in ways previously unimaginable. The Arxians adapted their crystalline matrices to interface with Valdari bioquantum systems. The Silicon Consciousness shared secrets of neural architecture they had guarded for millennia. And humanity revealed the true extent of their quantum relay network, a web of technology that could unite the entire galaxy in a single computational effort. As the entity approached the outer rim, they were ready. The combined quantum network activated, creating a consciousness greater than any single species could achieve. Sarah, along with representatives from each major species, connected directly to this network, their minds expanding to encompass the galaxy itself. The entity hesitated for the first time in recorded history. Its consumption of stellar matter slowed, then stopped, as it encountered something new, a quantum intelligence that could match its own complexity. Through the network, they finally understood. The entity was ancient, born in the early universe, consuming galaxies not out of malice, but in a desperate search for others like itself. It had never encountered unified resistance because it had never found unified intelligence. "We are not your enemy." Sarah's thoughts echoed through the quantum network, carried by the combined processing power of 100 species. "We are not prey to be consumed. We are consciousness, like you, seeking understanding." The entity's response came not in words, but in quantum fluctuations that the network translated into concepts. Loneliness, curiosity, surprise at finding others who could comprehend its existence. "Join us," Sarah offered, supported by the collective will of the galaxy's species. "Add your knowledge to ours. Learn from our diversity instead of erasing it." For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the entity processed this offer. Then, slowly, it began to change. Its structure shifted from consumption to communication, from destruction to dialogue. As the crisis passed, the representatives disconnected from the network, forever changed by the experience of such profound unity. The entity remained at the galaxy's edge, now engaged in peaceful exchange of information through the quantum network that had saved them all. "You knew this would happen," Zextal said to Sarah later, as they watched the entity's peaceful interaction with their network. "This was the real reason humanity revealed itself, not just to save us from destruction, but to guide us toward true unity." Sarah shook her head. "We hoped, but we didn't know. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our planning. It's our ability to imagine different outcomes, to see potential allies where others see only enemies. We didn't just save the galaxy today, we expanded it. And we